Hey gang, hang on. Let me fix the mode here. Is that better? Is that any better? We got work to do. We got work to do down here. I don't think that's any better. I don't really. That's better. That works. That works for now. Wow, what a game. What a game tonight. That was fantastic. I just got back repping the Ram Nation fellas. Shout out to Joel Cantalamessa. Yeah. I don't mess that name up very often. My guy, the Swole Cracker, Steve Ivy, my friends over at Ram Nation, saw Joel. I was like sitting right beside him tonight at Moby Arena. I didn't even realize it. I look up and he's like 2 seats away from me. So this was awesome. I love to go as a fan. I'll try to go as a media member and stuff to games. Didn't do that as much this year, but got a chance to get out and check out this team. A couple times this year, and this was a go-to. My wife surprised me with tickets. She's like, you know what, you need to go out, and we headed over to this game tonight. It was fantastic. 61-55. Colorado State gets the dub. Let's break into it. Started off with a bang. I mean, David Roddy was just going off in that first half. I mean, he was unstoppable. Wyoming had no answer for him. He ended up the night with I got the box score in front of me: 26 points, 11 boards, 4 of 7 from the 3-point line. Again, sensational stuff from David. He is one of the best players that I've like me personally. I've watched NBA stuff, but just talking about college players, definitely the best college basketball player that I've seen in person, kind of like on a regular basis. And he's such a great guy too. So such an awesome combination for a player, for a guy. And talking to him today, I mean, I was like, hey, you sure you want to do the show today? We did the David Roddy show on KFKA earlier today, and he's like, no, heck no, let's do it. So he wants to talk. He wants to get out there to his fans, and it was a blast of a game. Roddy tore it up. Okay, let's just elephant in the room. The spread, I get that. The spread was six. What was it? -6.5 for Colorado State. I missed free throw. I know most Rams fans don't care, so that's fine. You got the win. That's the most important thing about it. And Roddy was sensational yet again. But I'm having a hard time here, guys. Who's the player of the game? Chandler Jacobs or David Roddy? Chandler Jacobs, 18.7 rebounds, efficient, moving the ball well, but defensively was just so good. And there was a lot of guys I want to get to on the defensive side of the ball. But I felt like Chandler Jacobs and his kind of defensive energy was what really changed things. Again, not change things. I mean, the Rams, I don't want to say they were necessarily in control. Wyoming kept making runs, but right when it felt like the Cowboys were going to get over the top and make it uncomfortable in front of 8,000 strong, Colorado State did something to just kind of calm that storm. I mean, you look at Wyoming, and what can you say about Drake Jeffries? He was the guy tonight for Wyoming. So when he was going off, you thought, oh boy, this guy's unstoppable. Be careful. It actually kind of reminded me, I know on a different scale, but when UNC played CSU months ago, Bodie Hume, who we love Bodie Hume for the UNC Bears, and he was having one of those games, just nonstop, draining him. CSU found a way to kind of survive that. Jeffries was having one of those nights. He's a fun player to watch. I will give him so much credit. He was a blast to watch. He was interacting with fans, with the student section. That's what you want. That's how you grow college basketball up here. We're getting it, folks. Like, we're growing the college basketball scene up here. It is awesome. But every time Wyoming was getting to that point, CSU did enough to calm the storm. And I thought Chandler Jacobs was huge in that. I'm kind of doing my shout outs here. I thought James Morris was fantastic. Offensively, I don't think I'm ever going to sign off. I don't think the coaching staff's ever going to off on him on taking a 3-pointer again, but he was so open. He's like, you know what? It's hero time. Missed it. But I thought defensively, he did a really good job on Graham EK. I thought David Roddy did a good job too. They were doubling him. They were doubling him so quick. that Graham, the vision was cut off. His passing lanes were cut off. So they came up with some big steals. There was one in particular, I don't know, the 7-minute mark, and Roddy had closed down, and you get the double on Graham, and he doesn't know what to do, and he throws it out, and it's picked off by Chandler Jacobs. You go down and you get a big play. I saw a lot of that. Great defense. I was listening to the post game show on the Voice of the Rams on the way home, and Chandler was on, and he had mentioned what the fan base did defensively for him personally. So, man, it works. It works. That student section is nuts. I was just blown away. I mean, I've been to a couple of games this year. That one was that one was nuts. That was absolutely crazy. Um, can we talk about the seats at Moby? I mean, it's not you don't notice it as much when it's not as packed, but it was, I felt kind of tightened up there, but that's for another day. This was a magical environment, and it was on CBS Sports tonight too. So getting a chance to see the crowd go nuts and then be on national television was so fun. So let's go down a couple of things. Other than Jeffries, Wyoming had nothing. I mean, Jeffries was awesome, but they neutralized their stars. Hunter Maldonado was not as effective as he's been in the past. Graham EK, 8 points for Graham, 3 of 13. Hunter Maldonado, 4 points, 2 of 6. He played 26 minutes. So the Rams did a great job of neutralizing those two players. And again, as we've seen with Colorado State, either a stud player or kind of a role player can suddenly have those monster games. Maybe it's at Moby, maybe it's in their home floor, but Jeffries was doing that. So they survived that. They did a good enough job of saying, okay, Jeffries is on it. We're gonna let him do his damage for a little bit, but then they tightened up. They tried to get him open for some shots, and Jeffries was feeling it. So he was taking a lot of those, even some of those crazy shots late. I thought they weathered the storm there very nicely. Who else was I impressed with? I tell you, I really think Isaiah Rivera, he was really good. Now he had 3 points, 3 rebounds, but his energy, there was something about his energy on the floor, especially late in that half, that I really liked. I like to see that. So he played 17 minutes, and I thought they were productive minutes. And you can't always go on the box score. You kind of watch games and you see a feel for how guys are playing. I thought he did really well. Chandler Jacobs, oof. Chandler Jacobs or David Roddy? Who we giving the player of the game to? Maybe that's a good poll question for tonight. I'll throw that up. Again, James Moore's was great. Isaiah Stevens, let's not how are we gonna leave out Isaiah Stevens? Isaiah Stevens was great, 10 points, 4 of 14. Again, when you watch him play and sometimes other players on this team, it's not always about the box score. And I thought Stevens again had one of those games where he was facilitating better, and it wasn't necessarily about the point total. I mean, 6 assists. 6 assists in a game like this was big. So hats off to this team. Does that all but punch the ticket? You got 2 more games left. You got Utah State and you got Boise State. I don't wanna get my hopes up yet, but I do feel like that does punch the ticket. I think that'll do the trick. Um, if they lose the next 2 games, they lose their first game in the Mountain West Conference, I suppose we get a little nervous, but I just don't think so. This was a monster win. This is a Wyoming Cowboys team that was ranked 5 seconds ago. So this was a big game. This was a big game for Colorado State to win. 22-4 now, and now we sit and watch. This weekend we're gonna have some games to watch, and we're gonna be watching closely what Boise State goes up against UNLV. That one's gonna be that's on the road against UNLV. So there is a chance Boise State could lose that game. Very good chance. And boy, does that set up some Moby madness coming up. If that's the case, Boise State and CSU. Wow. So much fun. Nico Medved, hell of a coach. Jeff Linder's a hell of a coach. Wyoming, I mean, I know the crowds back and forth, the ruckus and all that stuff. You guys hate each other, but surely you respect each other because this rivalry is something we can keep building on for a very long time. Hopefully, 2 great coaches. You had superstars that showed up. Again on the stat line, David Roddy was the guy that showed up. But I don't think Isaiah Stevens. It's not like he didn't show up. He was still a very solid player tonight for this team. Um, hats off to this entire crew. Hats off to Fort Collins. It was freezing cold out there, man. You know, I I made the walk. I had to park miles away, it felt like. It was a cold, cold time with the students. You wouldn't know it. They were so fired up. I haven't witnessed anything quite like that, like, on a personal level. So it was really cool to see that. Keep that going. 8,000 strong, filling that place up. It was hot in there. I think it was just because of all the crazy energy. Fantastic work. It was great. It was a lot of fun. So where do you go from here? You got CSU with 2 games left. We're going to be looking at Wyoming's schedule the rest of the way, but you got to be feeling great if you're a Rams fan about March Madness and where this team's going. I absolutely think, by the way, David Roddy is an NBA talent. I think that guy can. I don't know that there's many things that that dude cannot do. So, man, it's so fun to follow you. It's so fun to follow David Roddy and this entire team. There's so many great guys. Just kind of watching them interact with each other, the way they communicate was a lot of fun. So Colorado State gets the dub. They win 61-55. Guys, I know this is bad timing. I'm off tomorrow. I'm not going to be at work tomorrow, but I will be back at it on Friday. I'm going to put out a request to see if we can get Chandler Jacobs on the program. I'd love to get him on. He is that guy's another guy that's just really talented, but so good at like the radio stuff. There's players that, they're okay to talk to, but Chandler and like Roddy, I think those two dudes, they have a future in media if they ever want to. I'm not sure that that's where they would ever go beyond basketball when it's all said and done. But I was listening. I've talked to Chandler a couple of times on the show, listening to him in the post game show on the way home. He's such a great dude, and he is a very honest guy. He talked about like sometimes like why I don't know if I want to start all the time. I kind of like coming off the bench. I think that's good for me because sometimes I'm not so sure about certain play calls. I'm still kind of learning it. I think that honesty is really really endearing to him. So I love listening to him. So we'll try to get him on the program at some point later on, maybe Friday if we can, because like I said, I'm off tomorrow. I know that's not great timing, but that's gonna do it for me. I'm ready to call it a night. That was fun. Colorado State gets the win. What an environment for this Rams team. What a Moby Madness is. Keep building on it, please. Students that were there, if you're going to check this video out at some point, keep spreading it. You got the Outlaws at Moby, those kind of fans, that fan base that's growing. Keep that going. Keep spreading that on every single year. Let your people know. Swolecracker says, "How about James Morris tonight?" Yep, I mentioned him right at the beginning, but you're right. He needs more mentions. I thought his defense was outstanding. His rebounding, he had 3 boards, but it wasn't really about that. He did have a key. Was it a keyboard or did he kind of tap that out? That was a keyboard. But shutting down Graham EK the way he did was huge. They had Graham exactly where they wanted him to be. You saw that, Steve. They're not. He's not getting the ball on the block where he wants it. He was getting the ball so far away that he didn't have a lot of options. By the time he decided to make a move, James was all over. And then when they did bring that double, we're not going anywhere with it. He had nowhere to go. How many times did he overthrow going across the court because he couldn't see? How many times did he have a turnover in the middle of the floor because he couldn't? The vision was there. The passing lanes were cut off. James Moore's created that. He has been so much fun to watch grow. He's another guy. There's so many guys on this team that you could look at the box score. Random person's going to, that didn't catch the game tonight's going to look at the box score and go, what about James Morris? He had 2 points, 3 boards, 0 for 1 on that 3-pointer. But that's the why you got to watch the games, because that doesn't tell the story of this guy. He has grown into a really good player, and it's so much fun to see. I was trying to sign off. Now you guys got me going. That's what I love about Colorado State is, and Medved's guys, is you got the Roddies, you got the Isaiah Stevens. You have role players that can shine and have no problem being role players, but they will shine it. Mr. Morals, keep up the hard work. This CSU team is so much fun to watch. Most people couldn't see the game due to CBS network failure or screw up. Wow. So I was at the game tonight. I do love to watch it on TV. I'm a TV guy. I like to sit in the comfort of my couch and watch and tweet and do all that stuff. It was hard to tweet when you have to like reach in your pocket at Moby and you're like doing I don't want to touch people beside me. It's tight seats, right? Um, what was the screw up? What happened? I honestly don't know anything about it. I didn't record the game. I just did it not. I think somebody had mentioned behind us that it didn't start on time or something like that. So that sucks. Yeah, the Rams are fun to watch though. You're exactly right. Who's the player of the game? Swolecracker, CBS only showed the last 7 minutes of the game. Are you kidding me? I am literally just learning this. I just walked in the door, fired up the YouTube. That's crazy. What were the technical difficulties? Ooh, that is not a good thing. That is not a good thing. This was a hell of an opportunity for Colorado State to showcase everything. I had no clue. They only showed the last 7 minutes of the game. Wow. Providence Xavier went to 3 overtimes, and the other game had a water leak in the roof. Are you kidding me? Oh, what do you do though, right? I mean, uh, I don't. I'm stuck. Like, what do you do? Do you leave that game? You're going to 3 overtimes. I mean, I think Xavier Providence fans would be devastated if you left that game. So, boy, I think if you're CBS, you're probably damned if you do, damned if you don't at that point. That sucks. Well, sorry for people watching it on CBS. I thought that was going to be a great opportunity for Colorado State and to see this fan base. But at least it was the last 7 minutes. Mr. Morrow says, no kidding. Game got delayed and then water leaking on the floor of the game. Huh. I mean, what do you do though? I Rams, Wyoming fans are going to say switch over to the game, but Providence Xavier fans are going to say the opposite. Hmm, that sucks. Missed opportunity for Colorado State. Do they have any more? What's the rest of the national game look like? Are they going to be on national television again? That Boise State game will probably be nationally televised, I'm guessing. Find a network that doesn't lead with Big East, whose games last forever because they hack. Mr. Morals, but I found it elsewhere. Had to see my Rams. Where was it? Where else did you find it? I got to get this key information. The Boise State game's probably like on FS1 or CBS or something like that, right? Probably so. Man, what a game. What a way to follow that game up, though, after or to follow that UNLV loss. You know, you could have very well just hung your head and because there were moments where it felt like Wyoming, the momentum was kind of going their way. This team wouldn't let it go, wouldn't let it happen. Well, good for you. I'm glad you found it. um, who's the player of the game? I'm gonna tweet that out right now. Player of the game. By the way, my poll question was I did who's gonna win tonight, Wyoming or CSU? I'm I'm not disappointed in Rams fans. I'm shocked. Wyoming led that thing. Don't know. I borrowed it from somewhere. I won't give away my secrets. Okay. Contact me after this. We'll go through that. I want to know your guys' player of the game. I'll tweet it out after this. What else before I sign off? Is there anything else? David Roddy or James Morris? So you wouldn't put Chandler Jacobs in there? I felt like Chandler Jacobs was a difference maker too. So I do my whole show player of the week presented by Red Wing Shoes. I'll admit, David's won like 3 of them. I wouldn't mind seeing a guy like James Morris win one. David Roddy was massive, definitely player of the game. That's what Soul Cracker says. Okay, so I'll do a poll question between I'm gonna throw James Morris in there. Let's throw all 3 of those guys in there, and we'll see what happens. We'll have fun with that. What else am I missing? What a great game. What a great atmosphere. Who the hell was throwing stuff on the floor, by the way? Come on, Rams fans. We gotta be better than that. You don't wanna get a bad reputation on that. All right, guys, have a good night. I'll put the stream out, so obviously it's late, so I'll get it out there so you can watch it later. Hey, congratulations to the Colorado State Rams. Huge win over Wyoming. Good night, guys.